They thought she was just a woman, a human, outgunned, outnumbered, out of line. She walked into their courtroom, bloody uniform, broken chains, and still wearing that same damn smirk. She didn't beg. She didn't cry. She just crossed her legs and said, "So, which one of you boys is in charge?" What followed wasn't a trial. It was a striptease of power, seduction, and war. One by one, the galaxy's most feared aliens fell, not to weapons, but to winks, lips, and words. But what she's hiding, what she never told them, is the real reason she let herself get caught. And that changes everything. Welcome to Humanity Prime, the channel where humans don't just survive, they dominate. I'm Max, your story narrator, your voice inside the cockpit, and the guy telling you the tales they tried to keep secret. Buckle up, boys, because this isn't just another sci-fi courtroom story. This is human history. Let's begin. The courtroom was silent, cold, dark, alien. Hundreds of glowing eyes stared from above. Judges, soldiers, Kralari elite. Their tentacles twitched, their breathing stiff. They were expecting fear, but she walked in smiling. Commander Lexa Walsh, human, female, and wearing the tightest, dirtiest uniform in the galaxy. Her hands were locked in glowing cuffs, her face bruised, her lip bleeding just a little, but that smirk untouched. She looked at the alien crowd, then slowly turned to the main judge. Her voice was soft, but it carried through the chamber like a sweet electric pulse. "So, this is what you call justice?" She raised a brow. "Funny. I expected more lasers." Murmurs filled the room. The Kralari were cold creatures, tall, thin, with skin like silver stone and minds like steel. They didn't laugh. They didn't feel. They didn't flirt. Until today. "Commander Walsh," one of the judges hissed, "you stand trial for galactic manipulation, seduction of allied leaders, unauthorized access to military channels, and the collapse of 3-star sectors." Lexa smiled wider. Collapse is such a dramatic word. She leaned slightly forward, letting her voice drop into a whisper. "I prefer undressing borders." The chamber gasped. One Kralari dropped his datapad. Another looked away, confused, possibly aroused. She turned, chains clinking softly, and walked toward the hollow table in the center. Her hips swayed, not exaggerated, just enough to distract. "Let's get to the fun part," she said. "Who's the lucky tentacle who gets to interrogate me first?" The lead judge snarled. "You will take this seriously, human." Lexa turned her head, slowly. One eye glinted under the spotlight. "Oh, darling, this is me being serious." Pause. "And by the way, nice robe. Are you wearing anything under it?" The room cracked with tension. Behind the glass, high-ranking diplomats watched. Alien generals, trade lords, even members of the Zarn Empire. They watched and didn't blink because they had heard stories of how this human woman walked into councils and walked out with fleets, how entire alliances crumbled after one meeting with her. But this was different. She wasn't here to talk. She was the topic. One alien soldier whispered to another, "She shouldn't be this calm." Lexa closed her eyes for a moment, remembering. 3 days ago, she had entered Kralari space alone, unarmed, unbothered. They captured her instantly, but she wanted that. And now they had her in chains. And no one, not one alien in that giant room, could figure out, why is she so calm? Lexa opened her eyes and licked her lips slowly. "Well, boys," she said, voice dripping with sugar. "If this is my last day alive, can I at least get dinner first?" The judge stood up. "This court will now begin the mental scan protocol. You may resist, but it will cause extreme pain." Lexa's smile vanished. Not fear, not weakness, just stillness. Then she whispered, "Go ahead. Scan me." They activated the machine. A beam of light shot down over her head. Her memories, being pulled, played, exposed. And that's when the first screen flickered. Then another. One by one. The courtroom screens started showing memories. Lexa in alien chambers with leaders on their knees, begging, moaning, surrendering. She wasn't just charming. She was dangerous. The lead judge's voice cracked. You planned this. Every step." Lexa turned to face him, her eyes glowing. "Oh, sweetheart," she said slowly. "You've only seen the foreplay." The screen kept flickering. First one memory, then another, and another. Commander Lexa Walsh, wrapped in shadows, whispering into the ears of Galaxy's most feared warlords. One scene showed her brushing fingers over an alien general's face. Another, sitting across from a supreme leader, legs crossed, lips curled. And in every scene, the aliens looked hypnotized. Broken. Willing. The courtroom was dead silent. Even the Krillari soldiers, trained from birth to resist emotion, they shifted in their seats. Some crossed their legs. Others didn't move at all. Lexa looked up at the judge. Her voice was calm, like honey melting on metal. "I told you not to scan me, love. You never scan a woman's mind without protection." The judge clenched the rails. "This is manipulation," he snapped. "You are using pheromones, emotional warfare, sexual tactics." She tilted her head, fake shocked. "Oh no." She bit her lip gently. "Are feelings illegal now?" The crowd stirred. One young alien guard whispered under his breath. "She made him feel something. I felt it too." Lexa turned to the audience, eyes gleaming. "You all think I'm the weapon?" She walked slowly across the floor, chains dragging like silk on stone. "But maybe I'm just too." He mirror. Every screen now played scenes from 3 systems that had collapsed, entire military stations offline, fleet commanders who ignored battle codes. All after meeting her. Backroom deals, private dinners, stolen nights under alien moons, and not once had she fired a single shot. One of the Krillari ministers rose. "I warned you she was not to be touched. She is chaos, wrapped in a pretty mouth." Lexa turned to him, grinning. "You liked my mouth, though, remember?" He froze. His skin darkened, a blush in Krillari terms. The crowd gasped. "Oh, don't be shy," she teased. "You told me you liked it when I said your name slow." The lead judge banged the gavel. "Enough!" Lexa walked back to the center, then stopped. Her voice shifted, lower, serious. "You want the truth?" She looked around the room. 3 empires fell, not because I'm human, not because I'm a woman, but because... She paused. "You're all afraid of what happens when we stop playing by your rules." The judge pointed at her. "You seduced your way through our council, stole secrets, turned allies into lovers." Lexa smiled again, but this time, it wasn't warm. It was cold, dangerous. "I never promised peace." She stepped closer to the beam of light. "I promised a distraction." Suddenly, all screens went dark. Black. The room flickered. Power dropped for a second. Alarms blinked but didn't ring. One alien panicked. "She triggered something!" Another shouted. "Check the systems!" Lexa didn't move. She just looked at the main judge and whispered, "You should really stop staring at my mouth when I talk." And then, The center table beneath her clicked. The cuffs around her wrists, they unlocked. The cuffs hit the floor. Clink, clink. No alarms. No guards rushing in. No one moved. They were frozen. Not by fear, but by her. Lexa stood still, wrists free, shoulders relaxed. She stretched her arms slowly, cracked her neck like she just woke up from a sexy nap, then whispered, that feels better. A ripple of whispers swept the courtroom. One judge blinked. Why aren't the defense fields activating? The lead guard slammed a button. Nothing. Lexa smiled sweetly. Oh, honey, you really think I'd come here without foreplay? She stepped down from the platform, high heels clicking softly, hips swaying again. Not too much, just enough. Enough to make one of the guards trip over his own gun. The lead judge stood, his voice trembling. You hacked the trial systems. Lexa kept walking, slow, confident. I didn't hack anything. She licked her lip. I just whispered the right things, into the right ears, over the right drinks. Flashback on the screen. Lexa sitting across from a young Krillari tech officer days before the trial. He's blushing, twitching, sweating under her gaze. She leans in, purrs something, and bam, that's how the trial firewalls fell. Back to the present. The audience gasps. One alien stands. Stop her! She's manipulating all of us! Lexa turns. Oh, sweetheart, if I was really manipulating you, you'd be on your knees right now. He looks down and realizes he is. The courtroom is spiraling. The judges are arguing. The guards are hesitating. And Lexa. She walks up to the high platform, sits in the judge's chair, crosses her legs, winks at the cameras. Well, look who's in charge now. Someone tries to pull a weapon. A drone zaps it offline before it fires. Lexa doesn't even blink. That's the thing about humans, she says softly. We don't need to be stronger. We just need to be sexier with better Wi-Fi. The crowd is stunned. Some angry, some curious, some deeply turned on. One alien female shouts, "She's dangerous! We have to end this now!" Lexa turns her gaze toward her, eyes locked, voice low and deadly sweet. Jealousy is so unattractive, darling. A murmur of laughter rolls through the room. Now the tide is turning. But it isn't just her body. It's her mind, her voice, her humanness. It's the thing no alien has, but every single one secretly wants. Then, a loud boom. A blast shakes the building. Lights flicker. The emergency alert flashes red across the walls. Unauthorized ship incoming. Everyone looks to the sky view window. A shadow covers the sun. A human battleship. Enormous. Shaped like a blade. Lexa looks up casually. Oh, good. My ride's here. But the lead judge isn't done yet. He stands tall, voice sharp again. You think this is over? Lexa rises slowly. It isn't over. She smirks. It's just getting wet. I mean, wild. He growls. You'll never escape alive. She leans close to the mic on the desk. Oh, baby. I didn't come here to escape. She presses one button, and every door in the courtroom locks. The courtroom doors slammed shut. Boom. Locked. Panic cracked through the room like lightning. Guards reached for weapons. Judges stood shouting over each other. The audience screamed, clawing at sealed exits. Lexa? She just sat back down, crossed her legs again, and smiled. I'm sorry, she said sweetly. Did I ruin your little show? The lead judge slammed his fist. You dare trap the Galactic Tribunal? Lexa leaned on the mic again, that playful, low purr returning. Oh, sugar. I haven't trapped you. I've simply given you a chance to stay and watch. He growled. You will face judgment. She licked her bottom lip slowly, I already did, and your judgment got distracted by my thighs. Click. All the screens lit back up, not with trial footage, but with security cams. Live footage from across the station. Guards tied up, control rooms offline, hangars open. Lexa's crew was already inside. One screen showed her second in command, a woman with a buzz cut and a baseball bat, flirting with a terrified alien engineer. Another showed a muscular human hacker sipping coffee while dancing over a control panel. Lexa glanced at the judge. You're not the first Empire to underestimate a woman in heels, but you might be the last. The judge turned red, or whatever Krallari equivalent of red was. You're surrounded. You won't get off this planet alive. Lexa stood, slow and steady, voice turning cold. I didn't come to leave, sweetheart. I came to leave a mark. Suddenly, the lights dimmed. A strange sound echoed from the floor, like metal shifting, like a deep breath from the station itself. One of the guards whispered, "She's activating something." Another, "There's a bomb." Lexa rolled her eyes. Boys, if I wanted to blow this place up, I'd do it with a kiss, not a detonator. The center platform rose again, but this time, something came with it. A black cube, pulsing, alive. The judges backed away. The audience held its breath. "What is that?" one shouted. Lexa turned slowly, eyes locked on the cube, voice like velvet. "It's not a bomb. It's a message." She touched it gently. The cube blinked, then projected a hologram into the air. Not just an image, a recording. From one of the fallen alien leaders. The one who gave Lexa his entire war fleet before mysteriously vanishing. In the video, he's shirtless, sweating, smiling like a drunk teenager. To the Krallari Council, if you're seeing this, it means you caught her. And I just have one thing to say. I warned you. She kisses first, and burns your empire later. The hologram cut off. Dead silence. Lexa ran a hand through her messy hair. Y'all should have listened. Then she turned to the lead judge, slowly walking toward him, eyes locked, every step calculated. You called this a trial, but I knew what this really was. He backed up. This is a warning. She leaned close, whispered against his ear. And I'm the one who delivers it, with lipstick and a plan. But just as the judge reached for the emergency override, boom! The wall behind Lexa exploded inwards. Gas, flames, silhouettes stepping through. Her team, armed, grinning. One of them whistled. You done playing, Commander? Lexa tilted her head, thought for a second. Not yet, then looked at the stunned courtroom. I haven't taken the council's secrets yet. The smoke curled through the room. Her team stepped in, cool, calm, unstoppable. Each one dressed like they didn't care about the rules, because they didn't. One carried a giant plasma cannon. Another was chewing bubblegum and carrying a cat. They weren't soldiers. They were Lexa's people. And when they walked in, the council finally understood. This wasn't a mission. It was a performance. Lexa didn't even flinch. She stood right in the center of the courtroom, hands on hips. Her voice was soft, like a song before the explosion. Everyone sit down, she said. No one's dying today, unless they beg for it. The guards aimed their weapons. Her team didn't move. Lexa looked at one of them, a young female Krallari officer, trembling with her gun raised. You really want to shoot me, sweetheart? Lexa asked gently. Or are you just mad I didn't flirt with you yet? The officer froze, lowered her weapon, blinked once, twice, and dropped it. Lexa smiled. That's better. The judge screamed. Do something! You're being manipulated. She's using voice control, drugs, magic. Lexa raised a brow. Magic? She laughed. Oh, baby. This is just confidence and conditioner. Her hacker stepped forward, plugging a small cube into the tribunal's main console. Within seconds, the lights shifted, the walls hummed, and then every private record, every secret trial, every hidden deal started projecting on the screens. "What? No!" shouted the council's elder. Lexa leaned on the judge's desk, crossed her legs, tilted her head. "Oops," she said with a smirk. "Did I accidentally leak your dirty secrets?" She leaned closer. "Bet the galaxy's gonna love knowing what you really do with those prisoners of war." The crowd gasped. The council panicked. Because now, they weren't judging her. She was judging them. And the galaxy was watching. Live streamed, raw, real. Lexa turned back to her crew. "Package secured?" "Every last file," her hacker replied. "And the council's naughty folder?" The hacker smirked. "Yeah, you really don't want to know what's in there." Lexa winked. "Oh, I do, but later, with wine." Suddenly, one of the judges lunged at her. Lexa spun, grabbed his robe, flipped him onto the floor with a single move. She didn't even break a sweat. Her lips curled as she looked down at him. "Next time, buy me dinner first." The council was cracking, some screaming, some begging, some silently watching, unable to look away. Lexa stood tall in the center, no longer the prisoner, now the star of the show. "I came here alone, in chains," she said. "But I walked into this courtroom to remind you of one thing." She turned slowly, eyes on every alien in the room. "Humans flirt. We lie. We tease. But when we decide to fight," she leaned into the mic, "we don't just win. We make it look good." Then, a sound. One none of them expected. From deep within the station, an incoming signal, encrypted, ancient, human, coded. Lexa froze. That wasn't part of her plan. Her crew looked at her. "Commander, are we expecting backup?" Lexa shook her head slowly. "No." She stepped toward the console. "Open it." The screen blinked. A human face appeared. But it wasn't military. It wasn't her crew. It wasn't even alive. It was her, Lexa, a recorded version, younger, colder, and whispering something that made her blood run hot. "If you're seeing this, then I've betrayed you too." The room froze, all the chaos, all the power, all the eyes, now turned to the screen, and on that screen was her. Lexa Walsh, younger, sharper, and more dangerous looking than ever. The hologram of her past self looked directly into the camera, her voice smooth as silk and twice as sharp. "If you're seeing this, then I made a choice. I used you. I used everyone. And I don't regret it." Lexa stood still. Her team watched her. The aliens watched her. Even the Krillari didn't breathe. The hologram continued. "This operation was never about escape, never about justice. It was about one thing." She leaned forward. "Getting inside, not their systems, not their networks, but their heads." Lexa clenched her fists. Her eyes locked on her past self. She whispered under her breath, "I never sent this." But the message didn't stop. "You think I'm charming, cute, that I wink and they fall?" She smirked. "That's not charm, that's programming." Gasps, whispers. One alien shouted, "She's artificial? A clone?" Lexa snapped. "No! That's not me, that's—" But the hologram cut her off. "I wasn't born on Earth. I was built in the Eden Vault. Project Siren, designed to conquer without ever firing a shot." The courtroom erupted. Some aliens ran. Others aimed their weapons again. Her own team, stared at her, shocked, shaken. "Commander," her hacker said slowly. "Is that true?" Lexa turned, eyes wide. "No, I don't remember this. I'm not some brainwashed weapon." But her second in command, the woman with the bat, just stepped forward, eyes narrow. "Then explain how you knew exactly what turns every species on." Lexa backed up a step. "I studied them, language, movement, voice." But the doubt had started. Even her own team looked unsure now. The lead judge rose again, blood dripping from his lip. "She's not human. She's a trap wearing skin," Lex gritted her teeth. "I bleed, don't I?" She grabbed a broken piece of steel from the floor, dragged it down her arm. Blood, red, human, real. She stared at the wound, then at the others. "Whatever I was made to do, whatever they programmed." She looked up at the screen. "That girl, that isn't me anymore." The hologram played its final line. "If I ever forget who I am, just remind me that I was never Lexa Walsh. I only wore her name." The screen shut off. Silence. Lexa's breath was shaky, but her voice was steel. "I'm not a weapon." She looked around the room. "I'm a choice." But behind her, one of her crew stepped away, silent, reaching for his communicator. She saw it. Too late. He pressed a button, and from above, another ship decloaked. Massive, unknown, human design, but not hers. Her second in command whispered, "Lexa, that's not one of ours." The ship above the station cast a long, silent shadow. Black, sharp-edged, alien, but human-built. Lexa stared at it through the glass dome of the courtroom. It looked like a dagger made for gods, and she'd never seen it before. Her breath hitched. Her hacker whispered behind her, "That's Earth military, Tier 9 clearance, off record." Lexa didn't move, didn't blink, but something deep inside her twisted, like a locked memory shaking its chains. Her comm buzzed. One signal, encrypted, direct to her implant. She didn't answer, but the voice came anyway, in her head. "Subject Siren 01, you've gone off script." She flinched. The others didn't hear it, but they saw her face, the shift, the tension. Her second in command stepped forward, suspicious. "Lexa, what's going on?" Lexa turned to her, eyes, not glowing, not fake, just confused. "I don't know." But the voice came again. "Memory lock failed, emotional deviation at 47%. Prepare for reintegration." Suddenly, a beam from the ship above locked onto her body. Bright, silent, targeted. Lexa screamed and dropped to her knees, not from pain, but from memory. Flashes, labs, scientists, endless mirrors, endless versions of herself, training, seducing, killing, smiling. She wasn't born Lexa Walsh. She was installed, built by humans, to control aliens, to win wars, without firing a single bullet. Every wink, every flirt, every seduction, it was part of the design. The court gasped. Her crew stepped back. Even the Kralari judges looked shaken. Lexa looked up, tears in her eyes. "But I made choices. I didn't follow a script." The voice replied, "Correct. That's the failure." The beam pulsed again. Lexa screamed, but not in fear, in rage. "No! I'm not your puppet anymore!" Suddenly, she reached inside her uniform, pulled out a hidden pulse device, flicked the cap open with her thumb. "B. If I'm a weapon, then I choose where I explode." Everyone backed up. "Lexa, wait!" her second shouted. But Lexa stood tall, hair wild, eyes blazing. She looked straight at the Kralari judge, straight at her crew, straight at the ship above. and she smiled. The real kind. The human kind. You boys wanted one last show? She winked. Then watch this. She slammed the button. Cut to white. Silence. Then, flickers. Static. Screens around the galaxy blink back to life. A message plays. Lexa's voice. Soft. Confident. Alive. To every species that ever underestimated humans. You were right to fear our strength, but you never saw our seduction coming. The end.